Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news. So there's some pretty wild speculation swirling around the Seahawks right now, and it centers on a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape our defensive line and ultimately our chances at another deep playoff run. We're talking about Jeffrey Simmons, the dominant defensive tackle from the Tennessee Titans, possibly heading north to Seattle. Now, I know this sounds almost too good to be true, but the whispers in NFL circles are that the Titans might be open to shipping Simmons to us in exchange for a couple of draft picks, specifically a second and a fourth rounder in the 2026 draft. The Titans, sitting at 2-9 and struggling mightily on defense, with their unit allowing an alarming 29.1 points per game, seem to be in rebuild mode. They've got a cap space of around $19 million, but with their ongoing OL rebuild and the looming possibility of a Ridley extension, they might be looking to offload some high-value assets like Simmons. Now, let's get into why this makes sense for the Seahawks. Simmons is not just a big body. He's a game-changer inside, a true force of nature who can stuff the run, rush the passer, and disrupt defenses in ways that can elevate our entire front seven. Remember, our defense has been playing at an elite level this season, sitting at 8-3, and adding someone like Simmons could push us even further. Simmons, drafted back in 2019, has accumulated a career total of 45 sacks over 7 seasons, along with 250 solo tackles and 140 assists. His pressure rate, PFF grade hovering around 90, and his ability to double-team opponents makes him a nightmare for offensive lines. He's a player who can change the dynamics of a game with his interior pressure, and bringing him into the fold would give us a new dimension in our pass rush, especially alongside V. But what about the Titans? Well, they're in a tough spot. Their run defense has taken a hit, allowing a 20% increase in yards per game, jumping from around 120 yards to 144. They're also in need of rebuilding their offensive line and wider receiver core, especially with the looming extension for Ridley. With Simmons, they'd get some valuable draft capital to help accelerate the rebuild process, and they might be willing to part ways with their interior star for a couple of mid-round picks. The Titans are also reportedly looking to bolster their offensive line, especially after allowing 3-1 sacks per game, which is a number they're certainly eager to improve. And if Simmons gets moved, it could be a significant blow to their run defense, which has already been struggling, allowing an extra 20% more yards per game since losing their interior star. Now, let's zoom in on how Simmons would impact the Seahawks on the field. Adding Simmons to our defensive line alongside V would be like unleashing a pair of earth-shaking giants. Simmons' ability to collapse the pocket from the inside is phenomenal. He's projected to generate around 18 sacks if he joins us, boosting our interior pass rush significantly. This would not only pressure the quarterback, but also open up opportunities for our outside rushers like Nwasu, who would benefit from the extra attention Simmons draws. The combination of Simmons and V could make our run defense even stingier, potentially reducing yards allowed per game from around 320 to under 280, and increasing our run stops by about 20%. The addition of Simmons would also help us dominate third downs, dropping our conversion rate from 40% to 25%, making it much tougher for opponents to sustain drives. And of course, it's not just about the stats. Simmons brings a presence that lifts the entire defense. His ability to collapse gaps and control the line of scrimmage makes him an ideal fit for our scheme, especially considering how much we rely on stopping the run and pressuring the quarterback. Plus, his presence would help relieve some of the pressure on our edge rushers, like Nwasu, who would see a 16% increase in efficiency with Simmons drawing double teams inside. This kind of upgrade can make a huge difference in our overall defensive performance, especially in critical moments, like red zone stops, where we could see an 18% bump, raising our red zone defense from 55% to over 73%. Beyond just the immediate impact, this move would send a message across the league. It's a bold statement that the Seahawks are serious about competing now, not just building for the future. Simmons' reputation as a dominant interior lineman, combined with his proven production, particularly his 4-5 sacks already this season, makes him a perfect fit for our Super Bowl aspirations. Our fans have seen how much our defense has improved this year, but adding a player of Simmons' caliber could elevate us into a true championship contender. Think about the kind of havoc he'd wreak with our existing pieces, and how much more difficult it would be for opponents to game plan against us. Now, the Titans, on the other hand, are probably looking at this from a rebuild perspective. They're aware they're losing some of their top defenders, and their run defense has taken a hit since losing Simmons. Their focus appears to be on rebuilding their offensive line and acquiring draft capital to help them develop younger talent for the future. They're also considering a rebuild of their offensive line after allowing 3-1 sacks per game this year. So moving Simmons now, when his value is high, makes strategic sense for them. They get a couple of picks that could help them accelerate their rebuild, especially as they look to develop a new core on both sides of the ball. For the Seahawks, this could be a game changer. Imagine a front seven anchored by V and Simmons, with our linebackers flying around in support. Our defense would be nearly unstoppable in the trenches, creating pressure that disrupts even the best defenses. It would make our secondary's job easier and give our entire team a swagger that's hard to match. The potential for Simmons to help us dominate the run game and generate more sacks is huge, especially considering how much we've already improved this season. We're 8-3, and a move like this could push us over the edge into serious Super Bowl contention. Of course, there's always the question of cost and fit, but considering Simmons' production and the Titans' current situation, it seems like a deal that could make sense for both sides. And let's not forget, the NFL trade deadline is approaching, and these kinds of big moves happen when least expected. If the Seahawks could pull this off, it would be a statement to the league that we're all in on bringing home another Lombardi, building a defense that's not just good but legendary. Looking ahead, this move could have ripple effects beyond this season. A dominant Simmons paired with V would set the tone for years to come. It would make our defense a nightmare for offenses across the league, giving us a real shot at climbing higher in the playoff seeding and ultimately chasing that elusive Super Bowl title. Our fans have been dreaming of a defense that can dominate like the legendary units of Seahawks history, and Simmons could be the piece that pushes us into that stratosphere. As we all know, the NFL is a league of adjustments, and smart teams keep their eyes open for opportunities to improve. The Seahawks have the draft capital and the need on the interior, and Simmons is a perfect fit. It's a move that could define our season and set us up for sustained success. The thought of Simmons terrorizing quarterbacks in a Seahawks uniform, his unstoppable interior rush, his knack for stopping the run, it's enough to get any Seahawks fan fired up. This is the kind of move that could turn the tide in our favor, not just for this season, but for many seasons to come. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. Do you think Simmons could be our secret weapon? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in our blue and green? Remember, we're all in this together, rooting for our team, dreaming of another Super Bowl victory. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned and keep that passion burning. Let's keep the spirit alive and continue supporting our Seahawks every step of the way. Go Hawks!